even these people, they're not fighting against society. They are making a point that there is too much, you know, production, over-consummation, and over-waste, and then over, etc. So the over. And then these people in the middle are so simple. They just do what they can with their misery, with their problems. But they didn't complain. I think they were so interesting, very interesting. And obviously, as I said in the film, I was trying to get, well, we cannot see the DVD, but the paintings of gleanings, you know, I was trying to find some, and that was so interesting that I could discover that one, which I'd heard of, and finally find where it was and find these nice curators who were nice enough to take the painting out of the reserve, where they put storage. And the thing is, I found one so wonderful that when I said, do you think we can see it in the daylight? I thought I would say no. You know, curators are sometimes very difficult about that. And they take it out, and it says the gleaners just before the storm, and they come out, it's a storm. All this makes something so joyful in filmmaking that even having a subject which is not very funny, to be honest, this is even sad, and this is even a dark side of our society. But the way I film, the way I like to meet people, the way I like to get things happening in the film, I think makes the film, I don't know what you say now, you may raise questions, but makes that the film is not heavy. It's not heavy even though it carries a very serious and very heavy subject. It's not my nature to be heavy and to be dramatic about things. And maybe it helps the whole thing to be a film. And I allow myself to some maybe crazy things, I don't know, because I'm so gauche with things, and the thing about the top of my lens very often was out, and very often I'm not very attentive, comment dire, careful. And so I had 10 minutes of the texture of my pants, because I was in the car sitting and I filmed my pants for 10 minutes. And I have 5 minutes of one floor somewhere, and I had a lot of them. And inside the car, the gray of inside the car for 10 minutes, because I sometimes mistake open and close and go on. So I'm in the editing room, and two things in the same day. I said, we cannot only have the beautiful music of Joanna Brozovic, who made the theme for me, for my hands. We should have something more jazz of today. And I sent somebody at the FNAC, you know, kind of vintage shop, said, bring, you know, things of today. So I bring CD that he has chosen, he makes me listen to it in the editing room. Meanwhile, I come in the editing room, I had told the assistant, saying, I'm so ashamed to have filmed all these stupid pieces of fabric and nothing and throw it away. Just I not even wanted to know that they're there. And the minute I come in the room, he's about to throw something in which I'd been in that shot when they're picking the grape, the whole family singing. Then we went back to the cars, and it's clear that I kept the camera in the field, walking very fast with the tap in this. And when I came in, I had that on the machine. I said, hey, don't throw that. It's lovely. And at that time, we were listening to the music of the group Océan. And at the same minute, we had the music and the image together. I said, oh my God, it fits, keep it. Now, in the time of editing late, I said, I take it out. I should take it out. This is ridiculous. And I said, well, it's a jazz style. Why not? I gave it a pause. And the same way at some point, I thought, I should get rid of my hands and my hair. Then, when I put it back, I said, well, why not? So, hesitating here and there, it ends up like this. This is the shape it took at one point, and this is it. So, I guess you may have questions. Please.
Are you interested in perhaps doing a series of maybe gleaning around the world?
I didn't want to do gleaning around the world because it would be a real despair, as I said before. In many countries, for many people, gleaning is the only way of eating, and this is a despair. But what I was impressed by is that the effect of that film and the letters I received the gifts, the things, the witnesses, people writing these things. And I end up making a second film to thank the people who had written, to meet all the gleaners again and see if they were better or worse. And some of them, there is one very funny one, the famous one, who teaches at night. He's still selling papers at the Gare Montparnasse. So we discussed with him, and they all have seen the film. We succeeded. Even the poorest one, we sent to the Croix Rouge, a VHS, and asked them to invite them. One was in the hospital, we tried, I think all of them have seen the film, here and there. So that one had been invited. And sometimes we send him to Cine Club and evenings, and he makes little speeches and he's paid, you know, and we try to make him, help him somehow. And he said, what do you think about the film? It was very interesting. He said, it's a good documentary. And say, well, are you pieces that you like better or less or whatever? He said, well, there is something I could, you know, I could skip, it's you. And I said, yeah, sure. Because he says, I found it so funny. I'm not interested at all in your illness. At that, yes.
Old age.
No, I'm not interested at all in your old age. And I think he's right, you know. Why should he be interested? So when they are in the middle of the problem, themselves being cleaners, they are not interested. But audiences are different, you know. They can go from one thing to another. So in the second film, which is called 2 years after, I met another man, incredible, who said something beautiful about waste is the non-respect of those who have grown the things or fabricated the things. And that one was eating, comment on dit, des artichauts? Artichokes. Peeling an artichoke like on the sidewalk. No, I don't want to do the story. I did it 2 years after. This is it with cleaners, because they already called me Madame Patate. and I've received so many hard-shaped potatoes in the last 3 years. They come in little parcel. They bring it by hand. I find some in my mailbox. And I have design, paintings. I have received many fabrics and things like this. Very nice people send me handmade book, and the film has given something. There is like a tenderness between the people who have seen it and me, and so they sent me to have allowed them to meet these people. That's what I understand, because they were happy to meet the characters, the real person in the film. They were happy. They were happy to discover them, to discover that, you know, something which strikes me really, because in many films and documentaries, you know, the worker speaks worker. I mean, the man in the country has a special country way of thinking. The suburbs speak suburbs. Now, all these people of different kinds, they speak a perfect French. And I mean, maybe you understand French. They have the accent, and they have sentence well made, making sense. I mean, meaningful. I was impressed how precise they were. And they were not caricature, you know, they were not, like, not show of I don't know, of poor people or fishermen. I think they spoke beautifully. Obviously, I spoke with them 3 hours, and I picked the best for 3 minutes. I picked the best because I wanted them to look good. I wanted them to show the best of their thoughts, the best of their own behavior, the best of what they say.